thanks so much for making the time to come through. My name is Fungai Mandivei, and I'm in charge of media relations and corporate communications for the Econet Group. But today, I'm really here to facilitate and introduce something exciting. And before we do that, I'm going to ask Natasha, one of our colleagues here, to please kindly open for us in a word of prayer. Thank you.
Thank you, Fungai. Can we please bow our heads in prayer? Lord Jesus Christ, we come before your throne of grace, thanking you for this day that you have made, thanking you as we rejoice in it, as we are launching Sasai languages. We pray that you are with us, that your will may be done, that everything goes as planned. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Natasha. So without any further ado, I'm going to call upon Natalie Javangwe, to actually introduce us to the proceedings this afternoon. But before she shoots, I would just like to introduce, starting from my right, the panel that is here in front. There's Lakson Mundira, who is our CTO for Cassava FinTech International. So he's here representing Cassava FinTech International, who are the owners and the developers of Sasai. And then Miss Natalie Javangwe, the CEO of EcoCash. And EcoCash was one of the first payments platforms to actually partner with Sasai. And she will be introducing Mr. Taperam Shoriwa, who is the Chief Operating Officer for Sasai Africa or Sasai International. Thank you very much. So over to you, Natalie.
A very wonderful afternoon to all of you. I would like to thank you very much indeed for coming to the Cassava FinTech International press conference for us to give you an update on Sasai, which is our flagship digital payments and social networking payments product, which you all know was launched in August 2019. My name is Natalie Jabangwe, and as you've already heard, I'm the CEO for EcoCash. As you're aware, EcoCash was one of the first, in fact, it was the first partner for Sasai Social Payments Network product. This partnership is super and very, very important for us as the EcoCash business because it pivots where we are going into the future. As mobile money takes an evolutionary and dynamic transformation, our view is that we will be moving towards social payments. And for us, you know that we're part of a group that is very innovative, and we continue to think about solutions that will peg us and our customers into the future. And Sasai, as a business and as a product, is definitely one such example. Now, Sasai is the first African social network payments platform globally to be able to connect Africans to Africa in a way that makes it possible for them to chat, pay, and play. Now, a lot has been happening behind the scenes since we launched in August last year. And we are taking this opportunity to be able to give you an update on what has been going on. And as a premier partner to Sasai, we as EcoCash are absolutely proud of the progress that Sasai has been making and of the value-added advantage they have been giving to us as we see our business shifting towards that platform. I would like to take this opportunity this very afternoon to introduce you to Mr. Tapera Mushoriwa, who is the COO for Sasai.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for that very warm, introduction and opening remarks. I think, it just goes to show how, myself and Natalie have got the passion for innovation. I could feel it in her voice, and I hope that we'll continue to the fourth state members and everyone else who was here. You will recall that in August last year, we launched Sasai at Sem Levy, And ever since that time, there's been a lot of progress that I'm going to share with you. That's very exciting. You also recall that in the month of September, we also called most of you who are here for a media press brief when we launched hashtag remittance fees must fall. You also recall that we called some of you here to cassava offices to just discuss and share with you some of the plans that we have with Sasai. So you are family to us, and I'd just like to say a humble thank you for all the support you've given Sasai to date. I would also want to take this opportunity before I go into my presentation, to make a special recognition to our humble leader who uses servant leadership. And as you can see, he's given the rest of us to sit whilst he stands. The Cassava Zimbabwe CEO, Mr. Eddie Chibi, standing right to my left side after the banner. So let's start off by saying, for some of you who are here for the first time, what is Sasai and why Sasai? So Sasai is an all-in-one super app. We call it all-in-one because I always use the example to say there's a convenience that comes with a shopping mall. You know, when you have to go to 5 different shops in 5 different locations to probably do price quotations, you spend fuel, you spend time, and you might not get what you're looking for. But if you can have, it has been shocking for our business. It has actually resulted in a phenomenal growth of our platform. As we speak now, well, back then, our group had access to 2 major remittance source markets, which was UK and South Africa, and it had termination markets about 4. But within this short space of time, and because of the demands of the huge community we now have on Sasai, in the past 4 months, we've been able to add to a total of 24 source markets for remittance, all into Africa. I'll then also want to share about another feature, which is called Shop. And to highlight that, I think for most of us, we are used to Googling, but Googling is very broad, and sometimes you don't even know where to start. One of the most amazing things we've done on Sasai is bring content that we think is popular and relevant in Africa. So what does this mean? If you actually wanted to shop for something in Kenya, all you need to do is to go on Sasai, click country select. It changes to Kenya. It tells you the products and services in Kenya. Not all of them, but the major ones, the relevant ones. And we'll continue to grow that space. And we think that brings a huge window of exposure to our customers. Imagine that maybe someone here in this room, as part of the media family we have, is probably from Malawi. And you actually miss watching the Malawi station, or you actually miss watching the Zambia station, the national broadcasters. Imagine being able to go on our app, select your country, go under media services, and experience content from your motherland. This is what Sasai has done in the past few months. I would like to then move on and say, Africa is very diverse. Culture is very diverse. Language is very diverse. I think I need to probably take that one more time so that we simmer it. Africa is very diverse. Some of us have heard people in different contexts saying, I would like to visit that country called Africa. It's not a country. It's a very diverse continent. Cultures are very diverse, even in this very country of ours, Zimbabwe. And so are languages. So if there's all this diversity, there has to be begged a question to say, what does it mean? And before I explain what it means, I would like to share, a quote from a powerful African icon who most of us will forever respect, Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela said, if you speak to me in my head, if you talk to me in a language, in any language, it will go to my head. But if you speak to me in my mother language, wakadiko Natalie, it touches my heart. Language is a very special thing for us. So, we at Sasai have decided to make our app speak your language. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Zimbabweans, Africans, and everyone else around the world, allow me to introduce to you Sasai languages. I'd like to move on and say, that being said, one of the most interesting things on social media these days is misquoting of different influencers, personalities, especially football. After a game, someone is an MVP, and the naughty, commentators start asking the guy in English very complex questions like, what tactic did you use? And he says, tactic, and it's not nice because, we are proudly what we are from wherever we are, Zimbabwe, Africa, or across the globe. And we are now saying that for the first time, imagine that there is an app which speaks your language. Imagine that there's an app which actually appreciates uniquely who you are. There have been many apps launched in the past decade. Moreover, in just the past year, specifically in Zimbabwe. But I can tell you that this is the first app across the world that has got this number of languages and moreover, this number of African languages. I will and everyone who might be listening, you've got the power, you have got the power to decide what language your app comes in. You've got the power to also decide that app developers should develop apps which speak your language. Please download the Sasai Translate app and, sorry about that, please download this Sasai Translate app and experience what I'm talking about. Some of you might be saying, is he telling us the future? No. Right now, I would like to walk you through how you would download this app. And before I share that, I would like to say we believe in simple things. Even our storytelling in Africa was very simple. Tsuro Nagudo. No complexities of Wakanda. So we believe in just making stories very simple. One of the things we've done around designing this app, because remember, within our group, we also believe in financial inclusion and diversification and social inclusion. So what we mean by that is, just like EcoCash, a granny in the village should be able to make transactions. Just like on Sasai, anyone should be able to easily use the app. So we've made the process simple in just 3 easy steps. 1, 2, 3, and the app is speaking your language. I'll take you through that. So if you see the first screenshot, for those who've managed to download it already, or those who are already enjoying it, for those who are still downloading, please catch up. This is the most cool thing that's happening in Africa. So the first screen, when you land on the Sasai app, it shows you that tab at the bottom of the different services. On your extreme right, you will see where it's written profile. Once you click profile, you can then select the language tab under general. So profile, which is your profile, go on general, click the language tab. From the language tab, you then scroll and choose the language you desire. For those who are multilingual, the shop floor is open. You choose the language you desire, and on the last extreme screen, where, for example, there you can see Bemba, you will then enjoy the language that you choose. I know Natalie is looking at me and saying, why did you choose Bemba when you were in Zimbabwe? So my wife is Zambian, and when we were creating this presentation, she said, you better know where your bread is buttered. So just forgive me, as much as I'm very Zimbabwean, I have to comply. I'll then move on and say, but whilst I've spoken about all these languages and what's available, here's the good news. For, my brothers and sisters from the city of Intutu Siatunga, and for my brothers and sisters from Harare, I would also want to highlight that today, when you download and start experiencing languages, we now have Shona and Ndebele available. So, we want to promote our Africanness. Please get onto our social media assets, our Facebook. Soon, Sasai will be bringing something interesting, and our Twitter handles and the array. And for Zimbabwe, you can choose Sasai Zimbabwe. You can also choose Sasai Global, and you'll be able to see some of the hashtags where we've got a promotion to just, celebrate our languages, celebrate our Africanness. And more importantly, we would like to support the International Mother Tongue Language Day, which for some of you might know, it was last week on the 21st of February, or last week part 1 of February. Yeah. So those are the hashtags, and you can visit our social assets if you want to actually get the specific hashtags. I would want at this point to say, but I've been speaking about the languages. What if there are 2? What if there are 3? I'm proud to say that within the end of this month, we'll be having about 50 African languages. In fact, more than 50 African languages, if I can take that. But what does it mean? Where are we today? Today, we've got more than 42 languages. We are just going to be adding the additional 8 over the next 2 weeks, and we get to 50, and we expect to double this space by end of the year. In terms of languages across the world, we expect to be at 83 languages across the world, including the African. Centric, but of course, whilst we are first in Africa, available across the world, we have incorporated the popular global languages such as French, English, German, etc. But we've made sure that our primary focus is I speak African to you. There are 54 countries in Africa, and we think just within the first month of launch to be at 50, we've done a good job. I'd like to play a video for everyone.
Africa was born in me. My language is my identity. The drumbeat sound of my freedom. It's the beauty of my existence, the expression of my passion, my dreams, my love, my pride. I am the future, the hope of my continent. I am uniquely and wonderfully African. I speak African.
Sasai gives you the freedom to truly express yourself with Translate Find your mother language on the app and let's celebrate the beauty of the African tongue. Sasai, you've got the power.
You know, there's so many different Africa genres which played in that video. And I could see one of our Oga's boss, Eddie, shaking his head, but because he's CEO, I could see him trying to stay still, but he almost, did their hands for that. But I'd just like to then close in saying that imagine you are in the diaspora. Probably most of us have relatives or someone we know or someone we grew up with, maybe in the UK, as an example. And imagine you miss, ZBC, or you miss reading, let me not say, because they'll say I didn't say the other newspaper, but you miss reading some of the local newspapers available, and there is a platform which allows you to connect with home. Imagine there's an emergency at home and you need to send money home. Another country. Sasai brings you home. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sasai Languages. But maybe before you go, allow me to be a bit naughty and say, Nat, because I think for most of you guys who know Natalie, she can speak as if she's the Queen of England. So would like to see how much Nat is proudly African and what you learned today.
I have learned so many ways of saying thank you from testing the Sasai Languages app. Daboka, Siyabonga, Zikomo, Tatenda, Asante. Welcome to Sasai.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Peram Shoriwa, for that presentation, and thank you, Nat, for your fluency in so many languages that are on Sasai. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen of the press. This is our offering today, and you can download, you can experience it, and would like to encourage you not just to write about it, but you make sure that you actually experience it for yourself. Thank you very much. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a few questions, and then we will also have refreshments soon after this. So as is our custom when we invite you here, I'm going to take 2, 3, not more than 3 or 4 questions concerning the presentation that was made today. Thank you. I see my friend Tonio. So you just stand up, introduce yourself, who you represent, and then ask your question. Thank you.
All right, thank you. My name is Tonio. I'm with Technomeg. I have a question concerning the way you are aggressively driving Sasai, mainly because we are worried there's been an overload as far as the social media space is concerned. Many people are using other alternative applications. What's your drive towards driving Sasai? What are you projecting? What exactly are you offering so that you're going to be outstanding as far as this market is concerned?
Okay. Thank you, Tonio from Technomag. I hope I got your name right.
Yes.
So with Sasai, we are offering our customer, or our unique value proposition is to make sure that we've got an integrated platform. And of course, integrated is a big word, and I'll break it down. I'll give you an example. If you've got, let's say, AppBlue, I'm avoiding using other companies. You've got an AppBlue, which allows you to book your taxis and go around. And then you've got an App Orange, which allows you to order food. If you've been very loyal to this one, and after a space of a year, you join the orange one, the orange one will take you as a day one customer. That's unfortunate. But with our platform, because it's integrated, you will enjoy loyalty across, because we are not looking at you in terms of the different service providers we have. We are looking at you from a 360 point of view. And we are making sure that as we are onboarding and integrating with different service providers under our Explore section, one of the things we push for aggressively is to make sure that there's a reasonable discount by being on that platform, and that there is loyalty points which build into your profile as a customer. That's the first part of it. The second part of it is to say, when you're integrating services, remember there might be a green app which is really, really good, but it might never get to you because they don't have the resources to grow it. But for us, we are providing that platform to make sure that we are empowering service providers and developers so that those services that typically would have not reached you will reach you today. Let me give you an example. Let's say I'm in the advertising space and my job is to make those, I don't know what they call them, stock image, right? Today I do a stock image for my employer. It's done. It's end of day. What will Sasai do differently? Today Tapera is at his home. He's knocked off from work. It's 6 p.m. It's my time. But I know my man is not fitting for fuel. I can start creating stock images, load them onto Sasai, and within the Sasai platform, there's going to be a demand side of the production side that I've produced as a user. Does that answer your question, or you want me to go into the products? I was just being high level, but if you do, I can.
I believe it does. However, the beauty of you guys coming in person here is that soon after this, and when we've released others to have refreshments, you can actually come to Tapera and be able to get more detail from him. But thank you very much, Tonio, for that. Pardon. Please introduce yourself, Pardon, and who you represent.
I'm Pardon from Check and Zipped. I wanted to ask, in terms of shopping in other African countries, how are you going to address the third mile, the last mile delivery of the goods, and also in terms of trust of between the buyer and the seller? Okay.
Pardon, thank you so much for your question, and greetings to Tech and Zipped. Glad to have you here. I would like to say that when we are looking at the value chain process of online, the first leg is we must understand that Sasai is a platform that empowers and enables different value chain players. So I'd like to break that down a little bit more. What do I mean by this? What I mean is, let's assume there is a service in Kenya called Match Delivery, in Zimbabwe, Match Delivery. And Match Delivery is in the process of delivering goods. But at the same time, there's another player who's into arts and crafts, and they make their art and craft. His question is, how do we make sure that if Natalie decides to buy that art item, it will get to her as that particular art item without any alterations or different from the picture? And that, most importantly, the issue of transportation of that, how does that happen? So within our process, we've actually taken the opportunity to study the players such as Alipay, who are actually coming onto our platform. Within our process, what we've done is we're trying to make sure that the players we are onboarding are reputable players. We are not, as Sasai, in the business of producing a craft item. But what we do make sure is when you go and you find a player who's been onboarded by us, it will be written that it's a trusted company. Trusted meaning we believe that that company should produce what they are saying they're going to produce. Right. The second part is about the last mile, which is the delivery. I think what we have been engaging in terms of most of the content or service providers is they should identify transporters who are reputable, but more importantly, they should give a customer a choice. So one of the things we're pushing for in terms of functionality is you should be able to say, I don't like DHL to bring this artifact to my house. I don't like FedEx, I don't like, but I like Mushoriwa Transport. And then you click that and you choose. But I think the responsibility of the transport process will sit with the transporter, the responsibility of making sure that we get the right type of transporter is within our onboarding process, and would like to make sure that that ensures that your product gets to you on time.
That's a follow-up. And also in terms of the insurance to the buyer, is there a period of verification that the good has arrived or not?
Yeah, so we are talking to a number of insurance players, including EcoShow. A number, including EcoShow. It's about who's more aggressive. And definitely, like I said, our focus in terms of our product design is around giving the customer a choice. Like what I'm saying is, we don't want a customer to be forced to go with a certain delivery company. At the same time, we don't want to force insurance on a customer, and we don't want to force the insurance player. So you find out that when you are using that service and you are shopping, you'll be able to choose maybe EcoShow, maybe Insurance X. You'll be able to say, maybe I don't want insurance because the ultimate cost is very high. That is for the customer to decide. We focus on empowering and equipping the customer.
Thank you very much for those very, very instructive and very detailed, instructive questions and detailed answers. He actually asked 2 questions, so 3 questions are up. But I'm going to, if there's anybody who has a burning question, one last question, if it's there. If it isn't, people can actually ask their questions while we have our refreshments. Is that Tony again?
Yeah.
So the guys that are into tech and tech blogs are hogging the limelight. All right.
Sorry, I'm not so sure if this one's going to be a question or it's a suggestion or it's a concern.
No problem.
Yeah. I'm worried through my question, especially as far as Sasai has been developing here in Zimbabwe. I think one of the major issues that I personally would have taken to make sure that it grows to go up in Zimbabwe was an issue of access as far as cost is concerned. We have seen, yes, we have launched some Sasai bundles that come through, but why does it take you so much to at least maybe make sure that there's usability as far as Zimbabwe's uptake is concerned? Give us for free. I know it comes at a cost to you for a certain point in time so that we familiarize. Because I dare you, if you would ask all of us in here how many people have used Sasai. I use Sasai because I love experimenting. I've gone through even the calls and everything. But I don't know how many people in here have actually used Sasai. Why are you not allowing us the actual time to, you say it's time up there. So I'm just worried.
I'm saying I've used Sasai.
No. Of course, I expect more hands in here, but out there, are you going to be able to get more hands? And I'm saying, why are you not giving us, the power to choice via a certain value proposition of cancelling out on the tariffs for a certain time? Allow us to familiarize with the application. Let people fully appreciate what it does first, and then you can then reap and get your benefits out of the usage. Why is it taking you so long to do that, and why is it so difficult? So I don't know if it's a question or it's a concern or it's a tip. It comes as both. If it's a tip, please, you pay me a little bit of something, because I'm now a consultant, it's free consultant, but yeah, thank you.
And if you pull this one off, Tonio, I'm sure that the rest of the guys should owe you lunch. But just wanted to take it from the top, and you started off by saying, I hope, my question is, or comment is something that we receive. I know that one thing that our group is very passionate about is about engaging the different stakeholders and the communities. And that's why we bring you here. Unlike some other companies we know, they just launch somewhere and then the media has to pick it up. we believe that sometimes you do ask tough questions, but it's all in the interest of the user at the end of the day. And that's why we are not shy to sit with you here, take your questions, take them back if we need to go and redesign, and ultimately serve the customer who you represent. So please continue with the questions in the future, and whenever we've got more time, or also reach out to us beyond this. We've got locations where we work from where we can talk. I just wanted to then go to your question and probably, since this is the last question, paint a little small picture. That Sasai is a global platform. Sasai is owned by Cassava FinTech International, which has got a head office in London and also has got a branch office in South Africa. Where we are right now, we've been blown off our chairs because we're now in close to 180 countries around the world as Sasai. So when we look at how we are growing this platform, we are ensuring that primarily we've got an Africa focus right across Africa, but more importantly, across the world, because we don't believe in closed system. You've got a relative in the UK, you must interact. So that's why we've got the Africa focus and the globalness. But I want to paint this picture so that you appreciate a few things. At that level, we are looking at strategic partnerships. Just like, for example, one of the first partners to partner with us was EcoCash. It does not mean Bank A, Bank B, or Mobile Money X cannot integrate on Sasai. They can, and we are actually encouraging for them to do so, because in some of the markets, this is happening